So our final lesson for today on Tuesday, February 23rd is looking at complex numbers. And again, that's kind of sums up everything that you need to know for your next test on Friday/Monday. And complex numbers introduction, again, one more time. These are numbers that do not lie on the real number line, right? And these complex numbers are actually called transcendental numbers. But the only one that we're going to face in grade 11 or grade 12 really is this one called imaginary. It has an unfortunate name and it has stuck. It just means they're not real. When I say not real, they do exist, but we just can't plot them on a number line. And I know it's going to be hard. The best way to talk about it is looking at a definition. And notice, when we take this -1, if you wanted to solve for that, where's my handout? We're trying to say that something squared is equal to -1. Now, normally we can't get a real answer for this. So the round for that unit happens to be the complex number system. And that's why actually we taught you real numbers, integers, whole numbers, natural numbers. This is now a brand new, not brand new, but it's called complex. And so we look at this definition. In order to get from I squared to I, we basically square root both sides, and that's what it is. The square root of -1 is equal to I. What does I stand for? Imaginary numbers. I know it seems a little rough, but it'll probably make more sense with this example 1. B, I don't like 1A, I like 1B. Notice we have the square root of -25. Now if you use your regular calculator, ladies and gentlemen, it will calculate error. And the reason why is because the calculator only solves real numbers. You'd have to actually change its mode, and there is a way, but I won't show you now, to complex number systems. Okay? So the way that I'm going to show you this, if you recall, notice from our radical unit, this is why we can use it. Let's go slow. Root -25, you can actually break it down like root 25 times root -1. So notice what I did. I took the largest perfect square. In this case, I took this value. This one's the easy one. And that's my A. And that root -1, that's why I made root B. Root 25, though, we can solve. Why? Because it's a real number, and it's actually a nice number. It happens to be 5. So some students say, well, what do I do with this root -1? Do I just leave it? And typically, no, it's not good format. However, what does root -1 mean? Root -1 is I, and that's the answer. You say this as 5I. I know it seems complicated, but what is this? Where does this lie in the number line? If I were to graph this, it's nowhere. We have no idea where 5I is. It does not exist on a real number line. It exists, and this is the I version. And if I just tilt it so you can see it a little bit better, so we'll call this the I version. You notice I had to use a different number system. Maybe that's positive and that's negative I's. 5I would be here. But notice it's not on the real number system. And it's not a vertical line. It's supposed to be actually coming out to you in the screen. That's what's weird about complex numbers. Let's try question C. Question C is, and this is our last example for today, root -12. So watch what I'm going to do. I'll do this one really slowly. Take the 12 and multiply by -1. Use this rule again for root 12. Any volunteer from the class? What's the largest perfect number that can go into 12? Anybody? Adam? 4. It is 4. Notice how I'm doing this? I'm just changing this root 12 to root 4 times root 3. So typo there. Root 4 times root 3. I wasn't tired. So what's root square root of 4? 2. What's root 3? Root 3. What's root -1? I. Now, I make my eyes like this. Don't feel bad if you do it like this as a printed eye. It's okay. I just tend to write it as a like italicized eye. So that's the example we're going to do so far. And there's some more questions with example 2, example 3, and example 4. Well, we'll take a look at that again online when I see it. This was just a kind of good connector on this round where x belongs to complex numbers. See where we're going to be headed to? That's what we're looking at. No longer do we just say there's no answer for these. Now there are, but in the complex realm,